Kia ora everyone, welcome back. Day 100. This is officially the longest stretch I've ever traded live, and I'm proud of that. It hasn't been easy. I've blown up 2 accounts before this one and had to start over with just over $1,000. But for the past 100 days, I've shown up every night, every trade, just trying to get a little bit better. Some days have gone to plan, others, well, especially this past week, definitely haven't. But I'm still here, still learning and still pushing. And before I get into today's trades, I just wanted to say thanks to everyone who's followed along, offered advice or shared your own trading experiences. I really appreciate it. It's helped me keep perspective and feel less alone on this small account grind. All right, let's get into it. So the first trade I took today was on TRUG. This had popped up through VWAP and I'd just gotten up and opened up my software as I saw it pushing up, making this move up off of VWAP. Pulled back and I decided to take the first pullback, getting in here at 9.95. So I thought it was going to hold around 9.90, 9.95. It did initially. It popped back up to 10.50 briefly. It struggled a bit and I didn't expect the flush that came after. It flushed back down here and I got out at 9.30, so just down around the bottom here on the 20 EMA. Possibly should have bought back in as it pushed back up. You know, sort of held the 20 EMA here and maybe should have bought back in here around 9.50, around the $0.50, as it pushed back up to 11.45. But I hesitated, I didn't take that, and when it came up here I felt it was too high to get in and was, you know, hesitant about getting in, but scared of another flush, dumping again. So it eventually did do what I thought it was going to do and push up over 11. So I thought it was going to hold here and push back to 11 there. It didn't. It dumped first and I took the loss. It was $25.93, that loss there. Yeah, so didn't time my trade well on this one and just got caught in that flush there and got stopped out. After that, this stock sort of didn't do anything after that, faded away. So MCVT was my second trade of the day and it was pretty much a mirror of the first, except worse. So it had pushed up here from around $10.36 and I thought it was going to break up through VWAP. It didn't break 11.17, 11.18, but it pulled back. And really looking at the chart now, I missed this here. Big topping tail here, big red volume candle here, and I got in around 10.80 on the 9 EMA, looking for it to push back through VWAP. This is probably not a great decision with that red candle, volume candle there, the topping tail, and also because it's under VWAP. You know, it might have worked better if it was above VWAP, might have been more bullish, more buyers, that sort of thing. This was the leading gainer at the time, I think, MCVT. But even though it kind of pushed to 10.90, it was around 10.90, 10.92, 95, somewhere around there, it just didn't hold and it dumped massively. And I didn't manage to get out until right down the bottom here around 8.90. So that was a $1.90, around a $1.90 per share loss. So that was a loss of $66.50, which took me to around $92 down on the day. And both were in flushes, getting caught in flushes. This did actually rally back up to, you know, around nearly to $10. So, you know, but I didn't want to hold it because if it went any further, I would be even more in the red. So it did actually rally later on and actually pushed back up over $11, up to $11.40, $11.50 over VWAP, but that was it. This also just dumped again after that. But I didn't trust it after that flush. Getting caught in that just put me off trading that again. Put me in the wrong mindset as well, so I left it there for the night. Didn't want to increase my my loss on the day after those two flushes. So yeah, I did watch SMX for a while. This sort of grinded up, but it was a lower price stock. And where did I watch this? Yeah, so I saw it come in here. There was an entry here around 245 as it broke through, as it held VWAP. And I thought about getting in here around 240, 250 as it pushed back up. Would have been a good entry and it would have been a good decent trade up to, you know, around $3, getting 50 cents a share. But after the two flushes, I wasn't very confident in myself, so I didn't end up taking that trade. But that would have been a decent trade, getting in there around 250 for that pushback to 3. Actually made a high of 337, but it was kind of grindy. So yeah, left that alone, and that was the end of my night. So I took two trades, both were red, and took a loss of $92.42, and you know, a 65 cent loss per share and a $1.90 loss per share. Not good for my stats, but I'm happy that I walked away and didn't make it any worse. I stuck to my rules, only took two trades, and that's important at the moment when my account's getting quite low and I need to protect my profits. Probably need to think about what stocks I am trading now. Those two there were probably a bit more on the higher risk category, especially MCBT being below VWAP. Even though it was the leading gainer, it wasn't very strong when I was looking at getting in on that trade, and not noticing things like the big red volume candle prior, the topping tail prior to getting in, and you know, the volume coming in on that trade when I got in wasn't a lot. So definitely things to learn from in that trade. Bot helped soften the blow today. It took a hit on TRUG for $116, but made that back on CRVO, which I didn't trade manually, with a profit of $182. It also added $15 from SMX. Finished with our $81 profit, trading just 100 shares. Nothing massive, but consistent. Overall, though, it was a tough day. The market felt choppy and heavy, and if you weren't in right at the start of the move, there wasn't much room to work with. Two quick losses early on definitely set the tone for me, and after that, I just didn't feel confident enough to keep pushing. Sometimes it's better to just call it and protect your mindset, especially on a milestone day like today. So yeah, 100 days in. It's been full of ups and downs, but I've learned more through this stretch than I did in my previous attempts combined. If you've been watching along, thank you. If you're new here, hit subscribe and follow the journey. We'll see what happens in the next chapter. I'll be back tomorrow. Hei a popo.